that will demonstrate benefits to people who are responsible for our government.
A follow-up question. Some people might think that it seems to be a scaremongering tactic among yourselves to come up with this index, because you've based a lot of your evidence on WHO, and WHO has been known by some critics to sort of overplay health threats, like the swine flu incidents, for example. So now, like you say, many people are killed by air pollution. I think that's such a wide-ranging claim, like someone is killed. I never heard of someone saying, my daughter was killed by air pollution, or my son was killed by air pollution. I mean, so, is it a scaremongering tactic?
Right, well, thank you. That's another very important question. Let me just briefly address the swine flu issue first. I'm not someone who accepts that swine flu was overplayed. Although the total mortality from swine flu was lower than from the usual seasonal flu, if you look at the number of life years lost, it's actually greater. And of course, many of those who died were young people such as pregnant mothers. Swine flu was a particular and peculiar epidemic, which was very difficult to call. I think WHO's approach was a reasonable precautionary measure, and frankly, in terms of the total potential years of life lost, they were right. Now, turning towards the air quality guidelines in WHO, it would be very difficult to fault this. If you look at the WHO report, there are something like 350 references which were culled from probably thousands of different reports by multinational teams from all continents, and that includes China. There was a representative from Beijing as well as from Hong Kong and other Asian countries. So it's very relevant to our hemisphere. They sifted this information through what I would describe as the most rigorous scientific scrutiny. It went on for a long time. There were very focused debates, and certainly alternative views were presented, critiqued, assessed, and either accepted or rejected. It's very much a consensus document. So if anybody wants to challenge it, they're really challenging the entire public health and scientific community which is involved in this aspect of environmental science and air quality. I would have total confidence. And of course, as I said during Dr. Lai's presentation, the literature is rolling up, unfortunately, every month, showing that there are very significant, important health effects below these guidelines.
Can you briefly explain the theory behind your predictions, like how can we derive the premature death from the pollutants levels? And can you talk about the pollution trend? Is it increasing and alarming?
Methodology. Yeah, so Dr. Lai will start by giving you a thumbnail sketch of the kind of methodology we use to marry up the health risks to pollutants and the population exposure.
咁基本上個方法就同以前嗰個咧就都係一樣嘅，個理念都係我哋首先用嗰啲環保署嘅數據啦，收集咗之後咧，我哋再將佢超出咗世衞嗰個水平有幾高，咁然之後得出呢個水平之後咧，再乘以一個係數啦，我哋叫做係數，一個空氣與健康污染、健康影響嗰個係數。咁我哋嗰個係數點樣得出嚟咧？就係我哋根據翻我哋咁多年嗰啲研究得出嚟嘅。咁唔同嘅污染物，佢對於我哋嗰個健康嗰個風險嘅增加有幾高，咁額外嘅風險有幾高。咁乘完呢個係數之後咧，我哋再將佢計翻我哋全年咧總共譬如我哋有幾多人死嘅，咁我哋將佢計翻出嚟咧，就睇翻喺咁多人死之中， 譬如我哋每年有係39000人㗎啦，而家去到最新嘅數字。咁39000人裏邊咧，咁唔係全部人都係因為空氣污染㗎嘛，咁只係一個部分係因為空氣污染，有好多其他因素嘅。咁但係我哋根據翻嗰啲係數咧，就睇翻究竟39000之中有幾多部分，有大概幾多係因為空氣污染計出嚟。咁我哋乘完個係數，再乘翻嗰個39000咧，我哋可以得出呢個數字。咁當然我哋喺嗰個大氣指數裏邊，我哋一個即時嘅好快速嘅計算咧，就係因為我哋計翻佢每一個鐘過往每一個鐘嗰個平均濃度超出咗世衞嗰個年度水平有幾多，咁然之後得出嚟嗰個即時嘅風險嗰個數字計翻出嚟。
可以講下個係數，即係可能話單講個基數，即係譬如幾多年嘅醫療數字定係點？因為而家你講話可以即係實時啦，咁可能都市民聽會覺得花大數字。
或者請阿 Dr. Wong 向你解釋一下。
我可以補充一下啦。其實咧，即係講緊嗰個所謂理論啦、呢樣嘢啦。你手頭上咧，我哋有一份文件咧係刊載咗基本上嘅即係嗰個所謂理論啊。咁我喺最近咧最近幾年前咧，有亞洲4個城市咧做咗一個空氣污染與健康影響嘅研究，4個城市嘅。咁我哋就做咗即係空氣污染嘅一個每日個變動啦，即係有時高時低嘅咧。咁對於死亡嗰個數字啦，有時又多，有時少啦。咁得出咗嗰個每一立方米微克嘅空氣污染增加咗幾多死亡咧？咁有個所謂叫做死亡風險以暴露嗰個圖表嘅。如果大家見翻嗰個文件咧，後邊有個圖表嘅。咁呢個圖表就係我哋即剛才所講嘅係數啦。咁呢個係數就係表達咧每1微克嘅空氣污染增加嚟到幾多%嘅人死亡嘅風險。咁我哋將呢個係數咧乘上我哋每一日有幾多人死，即係全港性有幾多人死，乘呢個係數咧會得出因為空氣污染而有啲死亡嘅數字。咁我哋同樣咧將呢個係數咧就用咗係啲入院嘅數字啦，或者同埋啲要睇醫生因為空氣污染要睇醫生嘅數字啦，加埋得出嚟嘅。咁同時我哋都計一計嗰個所謂或者係 Prof Hedley will tell you about its economic variation. We applied our estimates also for every mortality death, every hospitalization, every hospital admission, and then apply to the economic evaluation, and then we apply the chemical cost.
Yeah, actually, Ms. Charlton has addressed that.
Ms. Charlton, yes.
或者我翻譯翻頭先 Prof Hedley 提過一啲講過嘅一啲嘢啦。其實喺過去數十年間咧，美國國家環境保護局咧喺制定佢嘅空氣清潔法案嗰陣咧，已經係有睇埋佢哋嘅成本效益比率嘅嚇。咁而我哋好多都會忽視咗嘅。喺制定呢個法案嗰陣咧，其實嗰個成本效益比率咧係42:1嘅嚇。而家咧已經係穩定於係4:1呢個比率㗎啦。咁而即係空氣呢個管理咧，呢個法案咧係製造多於100萬嘅就業機會嘅。咁講翻今次我哋呢個 Hedley Index 咧，我哋其實政府咧一直無視空氣污染咧對社會造成嘅經濟損失嘅。咁我哋喺呢個 index 計算嘅經濟損失咧，係包括有直接醫療成本嘅損失啦，間接勞動力嘅損失啦，即係因為空氣污染引致工作人士生病同埋死亡嘅勞動力損失。最後仲有一啲無形嘅損失，包括有咧因為空氣污染引致嘅生病嘅日子啦、住院啦，同埋死亡嘅。咁呢啲無形損失咧，我哋係用社會
願意為咗避免呢啲生病嘅日子啊、住院啊同埋死亡而願意付出嘅金錢成本嚟計算嘅。
我意思係可唔可以我哋其實就係想問翻個係數係點計，即係因為好多市民會覺得哇，你哋係靠股，所以可以簡單講下。
可以講俾你聽，即係我哋個係數咧係我剛才嗰個文件咧上面講出咧，呢個係數係我哋經過全世界都係咁用嘅，好先進嘅國家都用呢個同樣嘅方法。我哋嗰個研究咧，在亞洲城市嘅空氣污染健康研究咧係經過一個長時間嗰個建立一個即係叫做共同嘅叫 common protocol， 即係4個城市用共同嘅 protocol， 用同一個方法，經過啲科學嘅方法，大家都認同嘅方法，一齊咁做，一齊咁樣啲數據咧係譬如話我哋啲死亡嘅數據啊，空氣污染嘅數據啊係我哋呢個計劃係 HEI 就 Health Effect Institute， 即係所謂即係健康係應學院提供資助嘅。咁佢哋咧派人員嚟香港睇我哋啲數字，即係睇我哋啲數字究竟啱唔啱嘅。其實最基本都係啲數字啱唔啱。咁因為方法咧，我哋就用咗全世界個方法嚟嘅。咁就咁然後先至得出個結果。咁結果就係、我剛才講嘅所謂 dose-response relationship 啦，即係效應嗰個圖表啦。咁呢個圖表好重要嘅，圖表顯示咧，如果我哋空氣污染增加時咧，佢增加幾多個 percent 嘅死亡嘅咧？咁呢樣嘢係一個好基礎嘅嘢。呢樣嘢都經過大家唔同嘅城市都係好接近嘅，同其他西方國家都好接近嘅。咁呢樣嘢就係好一個係或者Professor 咧都想講呢樣嘢。
或者我簡單講講啦。嗱，好多人唔覺得空氣污染會殺死人，就因為佢自己雖然佢覺得各種唔覺人唔舒服，呢啲大家都感覺到嘅，但係佢覺得我都冇事啊，我冇死到啦，係嘛？咁但係咧，黃博士佢哋嗰個研究分析咧，就你睇到咧，每日嘅空氣咧嘅污染指數有上有落，有啲高有啲低。咁同時咧，香港咧就每日都有人死嘅。咁我哋睇到咧，原來咧，當空氣指數污染質素高嘅時候咧，跟住嗰啲日子咧就死得人多；當空氣污染低嘅時候咧，就死得人少。咁所以第一步咧，你就睇到原來咧嗰個空氣污染上升，即係無論你邊一種嘅空氣污染物上升咧，原來同我哋香港死得人多同埋人少咧係有一個密切嘅關係嘅。咁透過呢個關係嚟講，你就計算到咧有幾多嘅人嘅死亡咧係因為呢啲空氣污染引致嘅。咁從而有咗呢個係數之後咧，你就可以一路計啦。高咗幾多就會死幾多，低幾多咧就會減少幾多死亡。咁呢個其實係一個咧，呢個方法咧就係全世界包括世界衛生組織都係用呢個方法做嘅，好嘛？即係當然我哋唔會能夠講出話邊一個人係因為空氣污染係死嘅，但係我哋從佢整體上社會咧，你就好清楚嘅。即係我調翻轉頭舉一個簡單啲嘅例子，即係如果你見到個食煙嘅人，佢又有肺癌嘅話咧，我哋可以講話佢99%嘅機會咧，或者90%以上嘅機會咧，都係因為佢食煙引起。但係我哋唔可以講100%。點解？因為有時唔食煙嘅人咧，佢都會有肺癌死亡。但係我哋可以講到，如果你有10個食煙嘅人又有肺癌嘅話啦，我就會有9個咧係因為食煙引起嘅。咁所以咧，即係呢個嗰個係數咧，其實係咁樣計出嚟嘅。咁亦都係喺法國咧，喺各種不同測試之後咧，亦都發覺佢係相當準確。咁亦都係相當即係保守嘅。Just to respond to the reporter from the other newspaper. We said actually the so-called relationship is done by analysing how many people die every day and also what are the air pollutant levels. And then we find a very strong relationship that when you see air pollutant levels going up, then you see more people die in Hong Kong and in many other countries as well. It's the same relationship. Then from this you can work out how many deaths can be attributed to the effect of the air pollutants. So then based on this, then you average it over and you sum it up, then you can calculate how many people are killed by air pollutants or per unit of air pollutants every year. Thank you.
And it's important to remember that we take account of all the other things which might be affecting death, such as temperature, humidity, season of the year, day of the week of the year, flu epidemic, and so on. This is a very rigorously constructed model which takes out all those other extraneous factors until we're just left with the measurable effect of the pollutant level.
咁啊，時間有限啦，最後3條問題我評估一報啊。
想問下，可唔可以簡單講下咧？即係點解你收完咗嗰個指數之後咧，計出嚟嗰個死亡人數會足有，即係唔升到去3200啦？即係點解上次即係升，即係點解個升幅會咁大？同埋想問翻咧，即係其實都話其實環保署嗰個空氣指數咧，其實都已經過咗時啦。咁其實對於公眾嗰個參考價值有幾大？
或者我先解答咗你第一個問題先啦。我開翻我嘅 slide 咧，其實我哋都有提過下嘅。咁佢最主要嗰個原因咧，就係因為我哋用咗頭先講嘅一個係數啦。咁我哋解釋咗好耐啦，嗰個係數係用個時序嗰個方法就調整咗好多嘅一啲溫度濕度啊咁樣，我哋攞一個好客觀嘅數字話俾你聽，反映翻空氣污染同嗰個健康關係。咁我哋以前咧就用一個02年嗰個係數嘅。咁我哋最新咧，因為我哋用咗一個比較國際啲嘅一個研究啦，頭先阿 Dr. Wong 提過啦，係一個4個城市嘅喺亞洲4個城市嘅研究。咁對唔係淨係睇香港咁簡單，睇晒其他地方。咁我哋得出一個更加新、更加準確嘅一個係數。咁個係數咧，亦都係見到，尤其是喺二氧化氮嗰度咧，個係數係有增加到嘅。咁佢整體嚟講拉勻晒4隻咧，咁我哋嗰個估計咧，個風險估計咧就會總共增加咗大概37%。咁呢個係個主要原因，增加咗點解由1000人嘅死亡增加到3200。咁另外有其他原因啦，就我哋因為以前咧就用一個懸浮粒子作為一個主要嗰個污染物喺個風險嗰個計算在內嘅。咁但係而家我哋因為見到嗰個二氧化氮嗰個情況咧越嚟越嚴重啦，經常都係佢係一個最差嘅一個污染物，尤其是係喺路邊錄得嗰個水平。咁我哋亦都有個圖頭先俾你睇過，我哋而家香港其實即係好多交通擠塞問題越嚟越嚴重。你淨係睇翻統計處都好啦，佢都話到俾你聽，每年嗰個車輛咧嗰個數字啊、飛機數字啊、嗰啲班次啊，全部都喺度增加緊，直線上升嘅。咁呢啲咁嘅數字咧，就係反映緊我哋香港嗰啲交通擠塞、交通排放。咁其實二氧化氮咧就係同交通嗰個關係最大。咁所以我哋覺得係需要將嗰個轉移視線咧，就將佢個焦點擺翻落去個二氧化氮嗰度嚟計算，咁先至可以反映翻我哋嗰個最差污染對我哋嗰個健康嗰個影響。咁第三咧，就呢度個表亦都講咗啦，我哋應用咗以前咧就冇世衞就冇嗰個二氧化硫同埋臭氧嘅一個年度嘅指引嘅。咁點解咧？因為世衞咧佢都係基於一啲科學嘅報告啊，一啲健康嘅研究得出嚟嘅一個短期指引。咁但係佢當其時咧就06年咧，佢睇翻再之前嗰啲咁嘅研究咧就冇人係做過一個計算咧，就係點樣將佢嗰個短期指引同個年度指引攞翻一個關係，而估計翻嗰個相應嘅年度指引。咁但係我哋其實上年咧我哋公共衛生學院咧都發表過一個報告嘅，就係講到我哋香港嘅空氣嗰個AQO 香港空氣污染嗰個指標。咁喺當中咧，我哋嘅研究已經睇到咧，香港咧嗰個二氧化硫同埋臭氧咧，佢嗰個年度同埋短期指引咧係可以有一個關係定到出嚟嘅。咁我哋最近亦都有啲更新嘅研究，就暫時未曾可以發表住。不過可以講少少俾你聽，就係我哋除咗喺香港睇到呢個年度同短期指引個關係咧，喺其他世界唔同嘅城市，我哋用咗7個城市睇，亦都相同地好準確咁睇翻佢嗰個關係嗰個準確性。咁呢個即係根本上係可以證明得到㗎啦。咁我哋就而家今次新嘅白理指數咧，我哋就應用咗直情係世衞個年度指引。 咁頭先我記得你即係我哋有一個圖咧，就講咗俾你聽個年度指引同短期指引啦，或者我重申翻短期指引就係一個唔可以超出嘅一個水平嚟嘅，唔應該超出嘅。年度指引就係一個全年平均，即係話你有時超出又得，有時低過佢又得，但係拉勻全年咧，你最好就一定要達到呢個年平均水平。咁所以呢兩樣嘢兩者有關係。咁但係以前我哋因為冇年度指引啦，所以我哋就用咗個短期較高嘅水平 ，SO2 就用咗20，O 松就用咗100。咁但係而家新嘅咧，我哋用咗 SO2，我哋用咗5啦，O 松就用咗23.5嘅，咁低咗好多嘅。咁如果你話想詳細啲睇咧，其實我哋喺嗰個網站度咧，喺呢個咁嘅質素警告計入邊咧，有隔離有個問號，我頭先都唔記得同大家講。你如果撳入去咧，有一個詳細啲嘅簡介，就係講翻我哋呢啲點樣定出嚟啊，啲標準啊、水平啊點樣定出嚟。你會見翻我頭先同你講嗰個要花嘅同臭氧嗰個我哋所用嘅標準係5同23.5。
好啦，或者我補充剛才嘅問題，就話而家環保署我哋每日聽到嘅空氣質素指標啊，究竟有冇參考價值？係不單止佢係冇參考價值，其實佢只有一個誤導嘅價值，其實係一個誤導市民嘅價值。換句説話講，我哋已經係被誤導咗好多年。即使呢個世衛組織有新呢個指引之後咧，在我哋未有新嘅政府未曾採取新嘅世衛嘅指引之前，我哋每日所接收嘅信息咧，都係一種誤導嘅信息，係一種俾市民覺得而家空氣質素都好似係偏高嘅啫，都唔係好嚴重。但係實際上我哋講話不單止係嚴重，甚至係危險。咁我覺得市民係有需要知道嗰個影響係幾大，從而佢可以衡量到究竟佢覺得保護環境重要啲啊，定係話某啲傷害環境嘅措施係更加重要。咁但係我哋市民長期被誤導之下咧，好多時咧佢就會採取一種即係不理解嘅角度。譬如舉例嚟講，如果你太多嘅巴士喺繁忙嘅街道排放嘅話，佢哋唔清楚個危險嘅程度係點嘅話咧，有時佢就唔願意將啲巴士嘅路線咧係重新安排，佢寧願方便少少。咁但係咧，佢冇諗到佢呢個方便少少咧，或者佢反對呢啲保護環境嘅措施咧，其實所帶嚟嘅影響咧，係不單止係短時，甚至不單止係長期，甚至對佢自己、對老人家、對小朋友、對 BB 咧嗰個健康影響咧，將來咧係難以補救嘅。多謝。
We've just put up the slide showing the cumulative trend in deaths from 2001 through to 2011. This slide unfortunately shows one important aspect of strategic management failure in air quality control. In 1990, working with the then EPD, we were able to show that a modest restriction in the sulfur content of fuel removed the epidemic or reduced the epidemic of symptoms from chronic bronchitis, cough, phlegm and wheeze in primary school children. And we also demonstrated that it reduced deaths from heart and lung disease. In fact, all-cause mortality. We reduced that intervention by the government at that time, reduced deaths by about 600 a year. Now, if you look at this graph here, you'll see that from around this period, we've had a steady, linear, or possibly curvilinear increase in death. As I explained, there are many reasons for that, but here is a rather unusual looking blip around the period of 2004. And this coincides with the increased use of coal for power generation by one of the power companies. There was a shortage in the supply of natural gas, and they resorted to using coal with a higher sulfur content. This elevation of sulfur emissions from sulfur-rich fuels is associated, we shall examine this in more detail, but it's clearly associated with an increase in the Hong Kong population death rate.
Danielle from TVB Pearl. Professor Hedley, I just wanted to ask you, you'd obviously indicated that the trend we're seeing is increasing here. How alarmed should the public be? And can you elaborate just on the health effects of children as well? Also, we touched on the issue that Donald Tsang has indicated that he'll release his new AQOs by the end of his term. I know that you obviously hope this will be the case. Do you believe it will be, or do you think more delay tactics will be introduced?
Okay, let me address the problem of general population concern and child health. I think we say unequivocally, without reservation, that the people of Hong Kong should be very seriously concerned about present air quality in terms of their own health and future generations. And as I said, particularly for child health must have primacy in strategic environmental management policy, because not only are we observing the contemporary effects, that is, children we know become physiologically flat-footed. When they exercise, their heart and lungs cannot respond in the normal way, so they can't up their performance. Secondly, it causes inflammatory change in their airways. If they already have asthma, it will be aggravated. If they don't have asthma, they are put at greater risk of developing it. That evidence is now becoming very clear. Back in 1990, I mean 22 years ago, we demonstrated that the reduction, the modest reduction of sulfur in fuel led to a huge measurable improvement in tens of thousands of primary school children. In those who didn't have symptoms, we could demonstrate their lung function improved intrinsically, and for those who did have symptoms, we showed that their risk was lowered and that the high pollution areas became more comparable to the lower pollution areas. The big concern, of course, is that lung growth and development is slowed or even arrested, so that by the time they reach the age of, say, 18, which is the normal human age of maturity, and at that point the lung function you've got is more or less what you get for the rest of your life. It is more or less all downhill from then on. You begin to shed lung function, certainly after your 20s. But you cannot improve on your lung function if it's arrested before, say, the age of 18. And that means that the health-related quality of life and life expectancy of those children is put at risk. And it is very clear that a substantial proportion of them will suffer because of that. So, I don't think we can express it in more emphatic terms. What we are trying to do here, if you ask us to rank our priorities, what we're trying to do here is to protect child health in Hong Kong today and in the future. Even if air quality improved dramatically today, even if we did obtain clean air tomorrow, it is very likely, I would personally say definitely, on the basis of the published medical literature, that today's children will suffer throughout the rest of their life. A substantial proportion of them will suffer because of the exposures they've had year on year over the past decades.
I just want to remind you what you have just said, that the government or EPD said they will or might or may adopt new guidelines or objectives. These are not the WHO guidelines objectives. If we look at what the EPD proposed, in fact it was worse than the WHO objectives. And we have already criticized the so-called proposal now resting on the table of somebody's. If they are going to adopt that, it is going to predict a disaster. What we want is WHO guidelines objective, not the proposed one from the EPD.
We showed you, just to supplement what Professor Lam has said, we showed you the halos around the monitoring sites from yesterday for sulfur dioxide. This is quite a disastrous scenario for Hong Kong children. The WHO short-term limit, that is the 24-hour limit, is 20 micrograms. Not to be exceeded on more than 3 days in the year. It is exceeded on countless days in the year. And the average level remains at least 100% above the WHO guidelines. What are the new AQOs that Professor Lam referred to? What are the new AQOs proposing? Not a short-term level of 20, but 125. Now, it is incomprehensible. It is not possible how such a lax limit can offer any protection to population health, even if it is complied with. And it just reflects what Mike Kilburn and Dr. Lai were saying earlier, that the government is determined to set objectives which it can meet without any reference whatsoever to the public health implications. Now, this is very confused thinking at best, worst, cynical, unethical, and incompetent. It should stop, and the sooner the better for our children.
Just further to that, Professor Hedley, I just wanted to ask you, obviously you all highlighted the fact that the government here in Hong Kong is placing economic development ahead of the health of the population here. Why do you think the Hong Kong government is different from other governments around the world, such as across Europe, in Australia, where I've seen it, where they can obtain a balance between economic growth as well as maintaining the health of the population?
Well, this is essentially a question that you must ask the Chief Executive and the Minister for the Environment. I'm not sure I could begin to answer such a difficult question. I mean, all we can reiterate is that from a public health perspective, and indeed from an economic perspective, it is a totally false concept. It's seriously mistaken. It's letting down the Hong Kong population in grand style. Apart from ignorance and incompetence, I'm not sure what other words could be found to describe this disastrous situation. The Hong Kong government has the benefit of one of the best databases on the health impacts of pollution. This has been generated by our team, by Dr. C.M. Wong and my colleagues here, Dr. Lai, Dr. Tak, and many others. They have been working on this for more than 2 decades. There is more interest in our data in the United States than there is within the corridors of the Hong Kong government. Most of our research funding overall has come from abroad, including the United States Health Effects Institute. The risk estimates that Dr. Wong was describing to you are the products of a multi-center study in Shanghai, Wuhan, Bangkok, and Hong Kong, with a harmonized, integrated protocol, assessed and overseen by a very high-powered scientific committee in the United States, subject to the most rigorous possible scrutiny. And these data have been published in a very high-profile, high-quality scientific journal. They are totally robust. The Hong Kong government must know about this. They have a duty and a responsibility to know about this. They are guilty of willful blindness. They could know, they should know, but they choose not to know.
Sorry, can I just supplement what Professor Hedley was saying to answer your question about when we might get new air quality objectives? We know that in 2009 the consultation was completed. We know that an NGO raised a complaint to the Ombudsman last year about the fact we have no AQOs. We know what the Chief Executive has promised, first of all within 2011 and then within his term, and we still have no date. What I would urge you to do is to ask our legislators to raise this as a serious issue within the Legislative Council. Unfortunately, so far, neither the Chief Executive nor the Environment Secretary has been willing to tell even LegCo when they plan to release these targets. All we have is soon, or coming shortly. We believe this is completely unacceptable. We very much hope the fact that Beijing has now set targets, or a date for, or that Beijing has now released its new AQOs, and will very soon approve them, puts this Hong Kong in a shameful position. And maybe if the Hong Kong government and the senior officials will not listen either to the public, or to the press, or to the legislators, maybe they will listen to Beijing. And just the response of shame of falling short of the standards of Beijing, which is set for the rest of China. That is, at the moment, I believe, the best hope that we have.
Perhaps part of the answer to your question is that these decisions are not being taken by professionals in environmental management, by environmental scientists. Most of those, it appears to us, have been flushed out of the directorate level of the EPD. These decisions are being taken by administrative officers. And the Minister could not hope to receive independent, intellectually honest scientific advice from the Director of the EPD, whose job has been conflated with that of the Permanent Secretary.
Just to add to this, sorry, Civic Exchange released a paper last week reviewing Donald Jones' term of office and his performance in controlling air pollution, where we've tried to look into some of the reasons why it's been difficult for the government to improve air quality. That discusses some of these things that we're discussing today in more detail, and we'd be very happy to provide copies of that report for anyone who may be interested.
Okay, lady on the front row, and then Betsy, make a move.
There are always some kind of limitations when you approach this. What are the limitations of the Hedley Index and in your approach to academic solution?
To who?
To all of you who are asking questions.
I think we should bear in mind that these limitations, whether these are acceptable limitations. So it's based on the estimation. We use several approaches in estimating the health outcomes. And also these are all based on the excess risk we derive from the study we mentioned to you. And we adjusted for several meteorological factors. And also we use we also take into account of the correlation between pollutants. That if we didn't do so, that would be an overestimation. So we try our best to provide a conservative estimate as far as possible. And also one main point, as we discussed before, that by Professor Hedley, that the WHO guidelines is only a safer guideline values. Of course, if we expose to level below this value, it does not mean that we are absolutely safe. But we just make use of the best available scientific evidence, data and methodology we use to try to deliver a conservative estimate in this approach.
Sorry, let's listen to Betsy maybe, and then we can come back to Dr. Wong.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I would like to just that really doesn't say very much.
In fact, this is a health impact estimation. Yeah, it's not a complete full. It's based on scientific study, but itself is not a scientific study. But we know the assumption. We have already told you that the assumption we made we based on the WHO, and we have taken care of the correlations and also the health impacts estimate we derive based on the studies, local and international. These are all the assumptions we have made under our health impact estimation. These are, you could see this as a sort of a limitation, that we do not have the most accurate or best ever threshold limit that can be derived ever, because we don't know. We have never heard of any kind of threshold limit for each of the pollutant. That's the best we know. For example, PM10, that's the best we know, that 20, below 20 could be regarded as safer. But it could also be a limitation from another angle, that if you see this at 20, whether it's an absolutely safe limit, it is not yet. We don't know in the future. It might be telling you that in the future, a more better study with a better design, they could tell you that it might be a more accurate level, maybe below 20 or maybe above 20. We don't know yet. These are all the assumptions that you could say this is also a limitation.
The two most important specific limitations, ma'am, are that we are using very low risk estimates for the relationship between a bad health outcome per unit of pollutant, and secondly, we've not yet counted all the bad health outcomes, which we believe will be very much more expensive. I think those are the two main limitations. Oh, certainly not. We would go to court on that one.
I would like to ask another question, but I think you just been told by the bill not to ask any questions, so I think it's a fraction of the question.
Please feel free to ask any questions.
So maybe I can ask you later.
Please ask the question. Just a quick one, and we'll answer it briefly.
Professor, this new index, how would it help the man, ordinary man, woman, child on the street? I mean, so far we've been talking about governments and things like that. So how would this index help the public?
Well, very briefly, I would say that we hope it will increase and improve their perceptions of risk. It's very difficult for people to get a good idea of what is happening to them when they're breathing a lungful of polluted air. But in looking at this kind of index and the mechanism which we use to estimate these bad health outcomes, we hope that they will have a better awareness and understanding. This is a silent injury. It's not like a virus infection. It doesn't have a specific diagnostic label. But this puts it in a different context for the ordinary man and woman in the street.